Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we have a huge planting project. We've got 3 different trees that we're gonna get into the ground. I'm gonna walk you through each tree, then we'll go where we're gonna put them into the ground, and I'll bring you along for that process. So our first tree is this red Japanese maple that can take full sun to part shade. And this variety type is called the Dragon Tears Japanese maple, and it's supposed to stay red all throughout the season. It grows 5 to 10 feet tall by 6 to 8 feet wide. The fall color is red. It can take full sun to shade. It's drought tolerant. Its fall color is a dark, dark red. I love it. And what I really love about it was the price. So this was only $114.99 from Menards, and you do get that rebate back. So you get 11% of that back. So it makes it about $100. And if you know anything about Japanese maples, you know how expensive they are, especially from places like Lowe's. Now, the downside of that price is this is not a sterile variety, so it does develop helicopters, and I am going to be putting this by my pool. The good thing though is this tree stays pretty small, so I'm going to come in probably in the spring and just clip all these back. I love the way that they look, but I don't want them getting in the pool. So every spring I'll probably come in and I'll just chop these off. And because it's a smaller type, I really don't have to worry too much about it, and it'll be like a 15-minute project to clip all those off. But I love the way it looks, and the new growth is this really pretty burgundy red, beautiful leaf. So I'm super excited about this one. Our next tree is this Honeylocust Sunburst. And this is supposed to be no thorns and sterile, so it does not produce those seed pads, or it's not supposed to. But what I also loved about this was the price. So we're gonna go over the specs and I'll show you how much it costs. But 6+ hours of direct sun, which is definitely gonna get 30 to 35 feet tall. So this is a massive guy. 30 feet wide, slow release, it wants slow release fertilizer in the spring, which we'll definitely do, down to -30, so 4 through 9. We're in a zone 7, so we'll be great. Now let's look at that price, because that was the reason that I bought it. It was $68.99, and I've been looking at Honeylocust online because I really wanted one. I have the perfect spot for one. I love that they're rapid growers, so this guy's already about 6 feet tall. So it's gonna go perfect in this spot, provide some shade to the side of our house. The other thing I love about Honeylocust is how small the leaves are. So in the fall, when it loses its leaves, they just go in the grass and you can mow them up. You don't have to rake the leaves off this guy. So love it. And now I'm gonna go show you that third tree we're gonna be putting in the ground. This is our next tree, and it is a Tri-Colored Beech. And I do believe they get around 20 feet tall, but they're pretty easy to size control. They have this weeping nature to them. I moved this into a pot because I didn't love where I put it originally, and it was struggling. It was getting too much sun, the leaves were burning, but I've got it up here and I've got it in this spot. And on our garden walkthrough that we posted, we noted that the leaves on this are still burning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it in a spot on the side of our house that gets part sun, and I'm gonna hope that that's enough protection that it will be fine. I'm gonna really let it root in. I'm gonna fertilize it, make sure it has a ton of good water, and then I'm gonna let it root in, and I'm gonna go in knowing that the leaves are probably gonna burn this year, but hopefully it will do well. It is an understory tree. I just love this variety type, and it's beautiful. I want one in my garden so bad, and you can see that the leaves are green, so I think that it's under stress, and that's the reason we aren't getting these leaves all over. We're gonna put it in the ground today, and we're gonna hope for the best. I've got a great spot for it that should get some protection. We got all of those trees placed, so now we're gonna walk through where I got them in the garden. We are gonna start with the Honeylocust tree. I'm sorry if there's any wind noise in the microphone. I've tried to upgrade the audio. This is that side bed outcropping that we have here. And then this is their side bed against the side of our house. That's the garage window, our laundry room window, and our primary bathroom window. The Honeylocust tree is gonna be spectacular here. It provides the chartreuse color. We have that with a lemony lace elderberry that's in this corner, so I think those two things being in this area are gonna be really nice. I think it's far enough away from our pool that we shouldn't deal with too many leaves in there. And if it does create seed pods, we can just mow them up. But I'm gonna create a little circle around it so that when we plant it, we can mow around it pretty easily and it won't have weed pressure. But I'm gonna eventually take this garden bed and kind of swoop it down and then back out. And then if you followed along, that is a viburnum back there that we saved from the Lowe's rack. So that flower bed will eventually curve through this whole area. Right. The next guy is this Tri-Colored Beech. I have left it on the pot mover because the pot is super heavy. So I'll take a shovel to it and hopefully get the root ball out intact. But this is our spot for our Tri-Colored Beech. See, it's already getting shade, and I think it's around 10 a.m. here. So it's already getting shade here. I'm gonna push it out away from the house a little bit. We don't have eaves that come out very far. And if it does wanna get pretty big, it can do that. We'll probably size control it occasionally. I think it's gonna be great. We don't have anything with a red texture or tone in this bed. I wanna plant some other red foliage in here, but I think this is a great start. So this guy's going right in this spot right here. This is our last tree. So we got the red maple in its spot. If you see, there is an elderberry, a black lace elderberry right here, and it has been in the ground for 1.5 years, and it is maybe a foot tall. So it's kind of disappointing me. I think that it doesn't have enough protection in the spot that it's in, the elderberry. The one that's back in this corner is around 3 feet tall, and it's doing really well. And eventually, I wanted this black lace elderberry to take up this space and pretend to be a maple, but this maple was such a good price, and it's already as tall as the fence. I think it's more of an instant impact, and I definitely need some height in this bed. We've got limelight hydrangeas that come all the way down. There's 5 of them. So I think this is gonna be great. We're gonna move the black lace elderberry to another location in the garden, probably do another video. So I'm just gonna take it out, probably put it in a pot for today, and then we'll do that another day. But I love the way that this looks. And if you're looking from our pool, this will be the view that you get. It's very peaceful. Like I said, this one does have whirlybirds on it, which is what we call them in Kentucky. I'm just gonna come in every spring and trim those back. Now the hard part of the day. We have to get all these trees in the ground. So here we go. right, we got all of those in the ground. That was a huge project. I do not know what we did before augers, but I'm gonna flip the camera around. We're gonna go through all 3 trees, and I'll give you some of the ways that I planted them and some of the things I did to kind of prevent them dying. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and we'll go through that. All right, the first is this honey locust tree, and I think it looks amazing. I made a pretty big hole because I wanted to easily be able to mow around it, and I'll shape this up a little bit to give it a little bit wider of a hole. We're gonna set this up on drip and restake it in another video. I am out of energy for today, and it is a Saturday, so I kind of want to enjoy my day. I'm gonna pull in the camera here. So the tree had some damage on the bottom there. It was a cheap tree. We're gonna keep an eye out on it. Make sure when you plant trees that you don't want to push a bunch of mulch up to here. You'll choke the tree out. So I planted it kind of high in its hole, but I made sure that the dirt was low on the trunk. And I made a pretty big hole and I dug out most of this, and you can see there's water pooling because I soaked it really well. The root ball did come apart a little bit as I put it into the hole, so I was super gentle with it. I did not want the root ball to break or the tree will die. So we're gonna keep a close eye on it. I fertilized a ton in the hole, and then I will come back in with the slow release fertilizer once the roots have a chance to root in, probably early July. Our next one, this is the Tri-Colored Beech, and I love its spot. I'm just gonna go in knowing that the leaves are gonna burn and it's gonna be okay. Hopefully when it roots in, it'll be a little bit stronger. The other thing I didn't think about was the wind. We are on the top of a hill in this new build neighborhood, and of course there are no trees in our new build neighborhood. So there's nothing to block the wind. We have our fence here that blocks it a little bit, and there are these big trees on the other side of a property, but we get a ton of wind. And I think the wind is gonna add to the burn. We're going to support and love on this tree and give it as much nourishment and water as it needs to survive. But I love it. I think it's a really pretty texture next to the Gatsby Moon oak leaf hydrangeas. I think it's gonna do really well. We're gonna keep an eye out on it together. I'll bring you along for that journey, but I love it. I think it adds a ton of texture and height to this area, and also gives that red tone that we're missing. I definitely think I need another red leaf something over here. I gotta be careful because our dryer vent comes here, and I'm sure that it would shock plants. So I'm gonna have to go around where the heat comes out of our dryer vent. All right, and I think this red maple adds the biggest impact yet. I mean, I love the Honeylocust and I love the Tri-Colored Beech, but the red maple that we put in is gorgeous. All right, there she is. Just beautiful. It looks so graceful next to the pretty stout structure of the limelight hydrangeas and this weeping spruce. I love it. And it went ahead and already added height above our fence line. So we have this new build coming in. Eventually this rose gets 8 feet tall, so it'll fill in this whole area. This guy will get massive if we let it. And the limelight hydrangea grows 8 feet tall and 8 feet wide, so it will fill in this whole area. I am in love. I'm so happy that we pulled the trigger and went ahead and put this in. It looks great. This is a clay soil mess, and if you saw me digging in it, I made a mess of myself, made a mess of the area. I tried to clean it up as best I could. I made a pretty big hole, and I went back in with the ground soil that I bought at Menards and made sure that I filled in all the areas around the root ball. This root ball held together much better than the Honeylocust, so I think it's gonna be successful. I put a ton of starter fertilizer in so the roots could really get a boost because the clay soil doesn't provide much. I think that the issue with our black lace elderberry was too much water. I had a small, I didn't even realize it, but I had a small drip line going to it that had a 5 gallon per hour emitter on it, plus it was next to the drip line. So I'm gonna just keep this drip line here and we're gonna see how it does. So that's it, another planting project done. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the videos, it helps me out a lot. And I'll bring you along, the next video that we'll make is a staking project on the trees. I've gotta do some drip work, especially on the Honeylocust. But come along for that and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.